Hello and welcome to Precon Decon, the video series where I deconstruct the pre-constructed decks of Magic the Gathering's history. In this video we are continuing our look at the Lorwyn set, and we're going to look at Kithkin Militia now, which is a mono-white deck. So decklist here, we've got 24 creatures, 7 instants, 4 enchantments, 1 artifact, 24 land, mana curve off to the side there. Let's dive into it. So the Kithkin, they're hobbits. They are Magic the Gathering's version of hobbits. And that's it basically. So it's mono white deck, so it's just mono white weenie really, which is it's a strategy we've seen quite a few times before. But yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's it's a little boring for my tastes, but it is it's traditional. It's effective. It's a classic. So yeah, here we are. So one of the rares in the deck is Brigid, Hero of Kinsbale. So 2 colours and 2 white for a 2/3 with first strike. Tap Brigid, Hero of Kinsbale does 2 damage to every attacking or blocking creature target player controls. Super good effect, honestly. Just the fact that she can block and then do this ability as well, and just shoot a bunch of arrows, I'm guessing is the effect, and kill off a bunch of small attackers or small blockers. Really good. Really good rare, I think, to have. Like pretty much all the legendary creatures that have been in these pre-constructed Lorwyn decks have been pretty good, I think. So yeah, and Brigid I think is pretty strong. A single how do I pronounce this? Senzer? I think it's like it is like meant to be like, I think, like an Irish or Gaelic word that means like Lord, I think. I'm gonna go with Ken. I'm gonna go with Kenzer. So 1 colour and 1 white for a 1/1. If that pronunciation is wrong, please correct me in the comments. So yeah, Kenzer. When Kenzer attacks, it gets +1/+1 to end turn for every other attacking Kithkin. So yeah, can potentially get pretty big. But yeah, it's fine. I would have. It's being greedy, but I would have liked it if we got this bonus when it blocked as well. But I don't know. 2 wizened Ken. So 2 white for a 2/2 gives you Kithkin +1/+1. Yep, perfectly straightforward. Good costed like Anthem effect. Yep, very straightforward. Really, not much to comment on there. So the other rare in the deck is Thoughtweft Trio. These guys are pretty strong. So 2 colours and 2 white for a 5/5 with first strike and vigilance. When it comes in, you have to champion a Kithkin, which means you pick a Kithkin you control, you exile it, and then when the Thoughtweft Trio leave play, you get that Kithkin back. So champion is like, it's a really good mechanic, and I've talked about it before because like I think a champion creature has shown up in pretty much all these decks so far. But I just think it's a really fun ability. It's just essentially like you're upgrading one of your creatures into like this champion form. I think it's just it's kind of like Pokemon. I really like it. So first strike vigilance, and it can block any number of creatures, and it's a 5/5, and it's only 4 mana. Yeah, really good, I think. Really good, strong, rare creature to have. So we have 4 Kithkin Greatheart, so 1 colour and 1 white for a 2/1. But if you control a giant, it has +1/+1 and has first strike. So being a 3/2 with first strike for only 2 mana is pretty strong. You've got a few giants in here because giants were kind of like secondary in white in Lorwyn, but also you have some changelings, as we can see here, that would also help to trigger this ability. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good card, and also really nice to have a playset of them because that's becoming, I think, less and less common as we proceed through history. Getting a playset of a card is getting more and more rare. So 2 Cloud Goat Rangers, so 3 colours and 2 white for a 3/3. It's a giant, so it helps switch on the Kithkin Greatheart. When it comes to play, it makes 3 1/1 white Kithkin soldiers, and you can tap 3 Kithkin to give it +2/+0 and flying till end of turn. So 5 mana, and it makes 6 powers worth of stuff as you play it, which is really strong. 3 of those being Kithkin, and you've got all the effects that care about Kithkin. And you can tap the Kithkin to turn it into a 5/3 fly until end of turn. This is honestly a super good card. Really strong on common. Really good card to include, I think. Just the fact it makes 3 tokens I would have expected 2. 3 is a really nice surprise. So yeah, really good card. 5 mana. It's doing a lot at 5 mana, 2 Avian Changelings, just a 2/2 with flying, and it's a changeling, so it has every creature type. So yep, it's there for Kithkin Greatheart, gets all your Kithkin bonuses as well. Two Changeling Heroes is another champion creature. So 4 cards and a white for a 4/4 with lifelink. And champion a creature. So that's I should have said with champion. Usually when you champion, you have to champion a creature that shares a type with it in some way. But the changelings can champion anything because anything can be a changeling. So I suppose. But yeah, 2 of those, and 4/4 with lifelink for 5 is a pretty strong creature. So yeah, it's fine. A single gold Meadow Dodger, 1 white for a 1/1. Can't be blocked by creatures with power 4 or greater. Okay, sure. Yeah, it's just a bit weird, isn't it? But yeah, it's okay. 3 gold Meadow Harriers. This is great. So 1 white mana for a 1/1, 1 white tapped creature. So I've talked about in videos before, like how much I really like Master Decoy, and like Master Decoy is like my my benchmark for like these kind of like white creatures that have like this tap effect, these that taps down other enemy creatures. Gold Meadow Harrier is the new standard because it's only 1 white mana, and it has so it has 1 less power time, so whatever it comes down a turn earlier. And it doesn't really matter about power toughness. It's all you care about is that effect where you tap down creatures, get big attackers or blockers out of the way. So yeah, really good, and 3 of them is having 3 of them is really strong as well. A single gold Meadow Stalwart, 1 white mana for a 2/2. As additional cost to cast it, you have to reveal a Kithkin card from your hand or pay 3. Obviously, you don't want to pay. I've talked about all of these kind of like reveal a card or pay 3. Generally, I'm actually kind of of the mind that I don't think they're that great, honestly. Yeah. It's okay. I mean, it's a 2/2 for 1 mana, and I say you got enough cheap creatures in here that and you've got so many Kithkin cards. It's fine. It's basically not a drawback at all. So it's okay. 1 Kithkin Harbinger, so 2 cards and a white for a 1/3. It's one of the Harbingers, so when it comes to play, you search your library for a Kithkin, you reveal it, shuffle your library, put that card on top. This I think might is this the worst Harbinger? It's the one that doesn't impress me the most, just because it's just a 1/3, and all the other Harbingers do something else, like do something a lot more interesting. Maybe the Goblin one. This and the Goblin one, I think, are the least impressive Harbingers. Yeah. But I mean, it's still good. It can search up pretty much any card in the deck, I suppose. 2 Kinsbale Balloonist, 3 cards and a white for a 2/2 with flying. When it attacks, you can have another target creature gain flying until end of turn. So this is an ability that shows up a lot in white now. Like it's usually like kind of Griffins or like Pegasi that get this ability. As far as I think, this is like the first time it shows up, this kind of ability, where you give where a flying creature gives another creature a lift, essentially. So yeah, I think it's perfectly fine, and it's a good way of giving your bigger Kithkin on the ground an evasive ability. A single Knight of Meadowgrain, which is really upsetting. There's only one of them because Knight of Meadowgrain I think is excellent. So 2 white mana for a 2/2 with first strike and lifelink. I think this is a great card. I really like it. Does a lot at 2 mana. I think obviously the easy comparison is like White Knight or Silver Knight, and they have protection, sure, but this is lifelink, and lifelink is always useful, whereas like protection from black or protection from red is only useful some of the times. So yeah, Knight of Meadowgrain I think is excellent card. Really upset there's only one of them in the deck. So non-creature spells. So we have 2 Crib Swaps. So 2 cards and a white. You exile a creature and its controller makes a 1/1 colorless shapeshifter creature token. I think that's a perfect removal spell. 3 to exile anything, and in exchange your opponent gets a 1/1 creature token. I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay paying that price to exile something. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good removal spell, honestly. And I feel like this is the start of white starting to get like really like removal spells like this, which is really exciting. Just it's just exciting to see like white cards that don't just like prevent damage or gain life. A single Pollen Lullaby. This is pretty good. I quite like this. So 1 colour and 1 white. It's fog, so you prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn, and you clash with an opponent. If you win the clash, creatures that the player controls don't untap during their next untap step. So there's potential to be like sleep for only half the cost. So yeah, pretty potentially like really swingy spell to play, and like especially win that clash. Even if you don't win the clash, just fog is it's obviously just a fine effect to have. A single Shields of Velisvel, so 1 white mana, gives all your creatures +1, +0/+1, and basically turns them all into changelings until end of turn, which is good. You got plenty of effects that care about creature types, so this enables Kithkin Greatheart to turn itself on. I mean, that's not a great phrase. That's not great phrasing. I'm gonna stick with it though. But yeah, it's okay as a combat trick, I suppose. A better one, I think, is Surge of Thoughtweft. So 1 cast and 1 white. Creature you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. And if you control a Kithkin, draw a card. A board wide +1/+1 and draw a card for 2 mana, I think, is pretty good at instant speed. So yeah, pretty good card, I think, to have in here. Then we have a single Battle Mastery, 2 cast and a white. Aura, enchanted creature gets double strike. Yep, a lot of good targets for that in this deck. Yeah, it's just giving double strike immediately makes the creature like a lot more threatening. 3 Oblivion Rings. So this is the first time Oblivion Ring shows up, like classic white removal enchantment. So when it comes in play, you exile another permanent, and then when Oblivion Ring leaves play, it comes back into play. So yeah, really good classic. Like 3 mana, deals with anything pretty much. And yeah, it's great, and will get reprinted a billion times until it gets eventually replaced with Banishing Light, which I feel is a better card just because it doesn't have like the weird rules loophole. I won't go into it, but yeah, if you, I mean, I'm going to go into it now. I say that basically, if you have 3 Oblivion Rings out, you have the potential just to cause a draw if you want to, because like 1 Oblivion Ring can exile the other one. And then as that one leaves, the other one can come in, exile the first one, and you just create an endless loop of Oblivion Rings and just force a draw if you wanted to. I mean, don't do that because it's not a cool thing to do. But, I think Banishing Light is a better effect just because it's worded slightly differently. And then a single Rune Stalactite, one mana artifact. It's equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and is every creature type. Yep, again, just kind of playing into this semi-changeling theme in the deck. So what could have been? So there's a few cards in here which I think are they're fine, I think, but just some potential. There's actually some fairly decent Kithkin, I think, in the set. Kinsbale Skirmisher is a 2/2. When it comes in, it gives another creature +1/+1 to an attack, which I think is a pretty fun effect. Plover Knights, 5 mana for a 3/3 with flying and first strike, which is honestly pretty strong for a common. And just having another evasive creature, I think, is really good. Malicious Pride, maybe instead of as an alternate rare, but I say Bridget and the Thoughtweft trio are pretty good. But Malicious Pride is whenever a non-token creature you control attacks, you pay 1 white mana. If you do, you create a 1/1 white Kithkin soldier that's tapped and attacking, which is fine. You can just keep pumping white mana into this and essentially double up on your attacking creatures every turn. And Mirror Entity as well could have been a possibility, I suppose. 2 colors and 1 white for a 1/1 changeling. Pay X, creature you control, get base power and toughness XX until end of turn, and are all creature types. So again, just going to it's a way of kind of dumping all your mana into like this big effect, essentially pump up all your creatures, and yeah, I guess it's fine. But I think the rares in here are perfectly good the way it is. So in summary, I think it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly serviceable as a white weenie deck. I personally find white weenie decks like a little bit boring, but that doesn't mean this is bad. I think it's like it's perfectly functional. You've got enough effects in here that like synergize with each other. You got a good variety of cards. You got like removal options, and you got buff options, and yeah, it's basically doing everything I feel like a good white weenie deck should do. So just because I personally find it boring, and I'm not so keen on Kithkin anyway. I think they're a weird tribe, weird little hobbit people. But yeah, that's what I think. I think it's perfectly fine deck. But what are your thoughts on the deck after seeing it? Did you have this deck, and do you have any thoughts or opinions or stories related to this deck, or the Kithkin of Lorwyn? Please put a comment below. I always like reading those. But I'll be back next time. I'm going to look at the last theme deck from Lorwyn. But until then, thank you for watching and listening. Have a great day.